Hello everyone and welcome to another Art of Thomas video. Let's share the screen if you, well, I don't know if you're watching the video or you're listening to the podcast version, but anyway, let's get into it. I'm trying to make the videos shorter because I have been receiving some complaints that I tend to go too long on tangents, and so I'm trying to shorten them and make them faster and easier to understand. Okay, so on one of my last videos, I talked about the RSK blockchain and how it combines the security of Bitcoin and the operability of Ethereum. So basically anything that is built on Ethereum, in theory, can be deployed on the RSK blockchain on top of Bitcoin, because the RSK is a Bitcoin layer 2, it's a sidechain. Anyway, you can learn more of that if you've watched the RSK video. Today, I want to move into what is already being used on top of the RSK blockchain, what has been built. And in this particular video, I want to talk about Sovryn. To me, Sovryn is, of everything that is happening in the crypto space, it is what keeps me, like, it's the thing that excites me the most. I think it's the most fascinating thing being built using Bitcoin and crypto. So in its essence, it's DeFi on Bitcoin. DeFi means decentralized finance. And also before Sovryn, there was no decentralized finance on Bitcoin. It was only using chains like Ethereum, Polygon, and all sorts of different chains, but not on Bitcoin itself. Now there are others that are attempting to do this as well, but Sovryn, to me, of what I've seen, is the one that's the best at it. So let's take a look at the DAPP, and let's take a look at what is decentralized finance, right? So the main difference between a decentralized exchange and a centralized exchange is that in a centralized exchange, right, you have a company, say Coinbase, for example, or Binance, and they have all their assets, right? And you interact with them and you give them dollars and you can get Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. But the centralized exchange, the company holds all the assets. When it comes to decentralized finance, it's not like that, okay? The decentralized finance is just a code. It's just an application. They don't have any of the assets. So when you go into trade, well, first of all, let's go to the farms so I can show you. If you're a user, you can connect your wallet to the application, to the Sovryn. See here on the top right, you have the connect wallet option. And then you have the different pools, for example, SOV, which is the sovereign currency, and BTC, USD, BTC. So all the pools have two assets. And if you connect your wallet, you can deposit, say, 50% Bitcoin, 50% SOV, and you put them in the pool. So if someone wants to trade, someone else wants to trade SOV for Bitcoin or wants to buy SOV using Bitcoin, they interact with the pool. So you put in Bitcoin and you take SOV, or you put SOV and you take Bitcoin. So Sovryn itself doesn't hold any of the assets. All the assets are provided by the users. And the reason why, if you're a user, you want to provide liquidity to the pool is because you get rewards for it. You can get paid an interest by letting your funds be used in the ecosystem. So for example, in this particular case, the pool that has SOV and Bitcoin gives you 45% interest annual yield. So that's pretty impressive. It's way more than what you can get on a, say, a bank account. Now, there are many risks involved with DeFi. It's an experimental technology. So I would advise not to jump in anywhere just because they promise you great returns. But it's definitely something that we should all be paying attention to, especially how the numbers of inflation are getting higher and higher and higher, or while the interest that you get in bank accounts are very stagnant. So most people are actually losing money every year by having their assets idle. So DeFi promises a great way to put your assets and earn interest on top of them. And I am very much looking into DeFi technology being applied to Bitcoin, because for me, at least, Bitcoin is the most important asset, and the one that over time, I think it has the greatest chance of succeeding, because it's made to be reliable, decentralized, permissionless, censorship resistant. And things like Sovryn that are trying to build financial applications on top of Bitcoin and make them as well permissionless, censorship resistant, decentralized. This is, to me, absolute key. So I'm keeping a close eye on what the team is doing, and I am very much excited by the promise that they're bringing. So anyway, the things you can do in Sovryn right now is you can add liquidity to the pools and earn interest in Sovryn. Now, the way they give out the rewards, because they want to attract people that are long-term thinkers. So all the interest that you earn once you hit the claim button, if you go to here to the tab that says rewards. Now, right now it's 0 because I don't have my wallet logged in. But anyway, here they will show you how much rewards you have accrued in all your different pools. And then you will be able to click the claim button. And once you claim them, they don't go straight to your wallet. Okay, they get locked and they will slowly be released by 10% every month. So it will take you 10 months to get all the interest into your wallet. Now, I know that for a lot of people, that is something that they're not happy about. To me, I like it because it deters short-term thinkers from participating and incentivize people that are on it for the long run. So that's, to me at least, is a good way of thinking about it, even though for the short term, it means that the platform won't attract as many people as it otherwise would. So you're sacrificing the short term for a greater shot of a long-term success. And I think that is a very smart way to go about it. Now, the other things you can do is, if you go to finance, you can lend and you can borrow on your digital assets. This is incredible because you can do it. Like, for example, I'm in Australia and I can go to lend and I can lend my Bitcoin to anyone, anywhere in the world. And I don't even need to know who that person is. The code takes care of everything. They take collateral so that if the person doesn't pay up their loan, I get to keep their collateral. So as a lender, I am completely safe, right? I don't need to know who I'm lending my Bitcoins to, because the protocol itself makes it extremely secure for me to do so. The same that if I want to borrow Bitcoin, I don't need to know who I am borrowing it from. It's all done automatically by the app itself. So you can put your assets to borrow. You can put them to lend. You can borrow assets if you like. This allows to doing like margin trades. If you want to short Bitcoin, you want to go long, you can do all that stuff if you want to. Personally, I'm not doing that, but to me, the idea that you can lend Bitcoin anywhere in the world, so you can earn an interest on it in a decentralized way, it's amazing. You can see now that the API that you get for lending your Bitcoin is really low. That means that there are way more people trying to lend Bitcoin than the people that are trying to borrow. But this is a very, it's a new project. It has barely, it's barely a year old. So it'll be interesting to see how it, what happens once it grows. Here you can see all the assets that they allow to lend and borrow. Still only a few assets, but it's growing. It's a very new kind of project. The whole RSK ecosystem is very new, but I think it offers such great possibilities. I think Bitcoin is the most decentralized of all the cryptos out there. So anything that we can build on Bitcoin, to me, is always better than if it's built on other blockchains, just because Bitcoin is the most decentralized. And that means that in the future, it's the one that has the most chances of resisting outside influences, if that makes any sense to you. Anyway, so you can lend, you can borrow, and you can participate in the pools. That's pretty much what you can do right now. They have the Origins Launchpad, which every time they release a new project, you get a chance to participate in the early pre-sales. So that's also pretty cool. You can see they already did a few of them, and they are building something called the Zero protocol, so that you will be able, in essence, to lock your Bitcoin in and get USD stablecoin out of it. So it's basically a way of you to take loans against your own assets, which sounds pretty crazy, but it appears that they've been working on it for a while. It seems like it's going to be released soon. Probably going to make a separate video out of it, but very quickly. It means that you can get a 0% loan. And because you're taking the loan against yourself, you don't have deadlines in order to when you need to pay back. Whenever you pay back, you get your collateral back. So there's no one rushing you. You can do it at your own pace. And if you're locking Bitcoin to borrow stable coins, if the price of Bitcoin continues to increase, the amount of stable coins that you need to pay back is going to go down. So if that could mean, in essence, theoretically, that you could have a loan that pays itself over time, which is crazy, but we are in very, very crazy times. There's many things happening that sound crazy, but like if you would have told me about DeFi 5 years ago, I would have thought it was completely insane. It could never happen. And here it is, and it's working. So I don't know. I think we should all be checking of what we think it's possible and not. And I am very excited to see once this is finally deployed. I think they're calling it the Zero protocol, because you have zero interest on your loans. And this could mean that you will never have to sell your Bitcoins. If you want to buy something, instead of selling the Bitcoins, you lock your Bitcoin up, you get the stable coins, you use the stable coins to buy whatever it is that you need to buy, and then you wait until Bitcoin goes up in value and it pays itself. It sounds crazy. It sounds like it shouldn't happen, but I don't know, it seems like it might. So I'm keeping a close eye on this because I think it's incredible. It's really, really wonderful. And especially if you can do this in a decentralized way, for me, living in Australia, it's easier to get if I need a loan or something, I have places I can go, and banks and other institutions that can do that for me. But in other places of the world, you can't, and even getting stable coins, like getting dollars. Like I was born in Argentina, and I know that if I was still in Argentina, it's very difficult to acquire dollars. The government has a very control way of you to buying and selling dollars, and it's tied to how much money you're making. So you can only buy a certain percentage of your paycheck into dollars every month, and there's a limit, and you can go over it, and it's very controlled. It's very difficult, but using decentralized technologies, you can bypass that. You know, and to me, at least, it's a problem when the government puts blocks between, you know, an individual trying to do what's best for himself and his family. And when you get these blocks that seem very arbitrary, and yeah, it's a terrible thing. So technologies that allows individuals to make the decisions that they think are best for their own lives, I think they're important, they're necessary, and they're key. They are absolutely key. So I love Sovryn. I love that they're building all this stuff, which we already seen in places like Ethereum. We've already seen in Polygon, in Binance chain, but now finally we see all this development coming to Bitcoin. Now, the only thing I need to add coin market cap to this discussion, which is necessary. I feel like if I don't mention this, I will be doing a disservice, and I want to be super transparent. The Sovryn coin has been on a downfall, to say the least. It has lost a ton of its value during this bear market that we've been for a few months now. I don't know if it's been a year, but maybe. And let's see the chart for its essence. So you can see, you know, it had a very peak at $40. It stayed there very briefly. And now it's around the $3 mark, 2.9 is today. It is the lowest it has ever been. And I know that some people criticize the project heavily because of this. To me, I'm not really worried, because all that I've invested in Sovryn was with a long-term perspective. I never expected it was going to just jump in price and just continue to go up the whole way through. Especially one thing that I learned during this bear market is that once liquidity gets extracted from the system, DeFi seems to be what gets hit the hardest, because it depends on liquidity so much. So for some people, the drop in price is a warning sign. For me, it's an opportunity, because it means that, you know, now if you get in now, you can get a lot more tokens for the same price. And the team itself seems to be more active than ever. And what I love is that they do constant updates in their Twitter and their YouTube constantly. Especially if you go to the YouTube channel, this is something that even if you don't like the project itself, if you go to their YouTube channel, you're gonna find so much information, because what they do is they do the Twitter Spaces almost not every day, but every other day. They do a Twitter space, and they always have great guests and really good conversations. And what they do is then they upload them to the YouTube channel. So even if you don't like the project, check the YouTube channel, because there's a lot of really good information. Here you have all the conversations that they've been having, and they upload them quite frequently. quite frequently. I'm always checking when the last one has been uploaded, like this one that's been uploaded 9 hours ago. So very, very recently. So yes, I always say, don't take my word for anything. Don't just watch a video and then decide to invest. But to me, Sovryn is something that people should be paying attention to. Now, there's a lot of things that you need to understand about DeFi itself, on how it works, before you can put any money in it. So I'm going to try to make separate videos about each of these specific things. Now, I am deeply sorry that once again, this video has gone for way too long. And I know I started saying I was not going to go for too long, and I did, and I apologize. And I'll see you on the next one, as I'm going to continue to cover more projects within the RSK system. And then another thing is that I'm releasing a ton of NFTs in different platforms. So I want to do a video on each platform explaining how it works and what they allow you to do. And in all the different chains as well. So there's a ton of content that I want to be releasing constantly. That's my plan. So stay tuned if you want to, and see you on the next one, hopefully. Have an amazing day. Enjoy, have fun, and smile.